A Stoic Guide to the Good Life, Part 1. The Stoics define the good life as living in accordance. There is no space between you and the best version of yourself, the version you dream to be. You are not held back by worries, fears, or anxieties. You're boundless, limitless. In this series, I'll be laying out the blueprints that were taught by the Stoics in a practical manner that's easy to understand. The first fundamental to understand, and one of the easiest, is the dichotomy of control. It's to understand that 99% of the world falls outside of your power. Epictetus says that some things are within our power and some things are not. Within our power are our motivation, our aversion, our desire, our opinion, and in a word, whatever is of our own doing. Not within our power, our reputation, our health, our wealth, our office, and in a word, whatever is not of our own doing. If you do not understand this dichotomy of control, you're playing a game on the wrong screen. You're putting all your efforts into the controlling, but looking towards the wrong monitor. You're not even playing your game. You're not even controlling your character. So when you understand that you don't have power over the external world, the weather, the things people think of you, even your health, if the world decides that you'll be sick, or if you have an accident, then your health is now out of your hands. There are things that you have 100% control over. When you understand this, then you no longer give all this energy to the external 99%. You can focus and dial in on that 1%. And that's where the strength is found. Your opinion, your motivation, your desire, the way you respond to the external world. So you do not control the weather, but you control how you react to the weather. You do not control the lies that people tell you, but you control your opinion on this, the way you react to this. People will make lies regardless of how you are. Your reputation is out of your hands in this sense. You can be a good person, but jealousy leads to people telling lies. But they tell these lies and you decide, it's just a lie. I'm going to keep doing what I do, keep acting on the good that I know I have, and this is my character. What you then must understand is this idea taught by Chrysippus, who was the third head of the Stoic school. He taught the idea of cones and cylinders. The Stoics believed in the will of Zeus, that the world had been laid out for us by the Creator. In modern times, we would say this is God's plan, or this is our destiny. And if you're not a believer in any of this, then understand that you can wake up tomorrow and there'll still be a natural disaster. There'll still be conflicts. There'll still be a rainstorm or a sunshine outside, regardless of what you do. This has been handed to you. And the thing you do control is how you react to it. So the Stoics would say, amor fati, the love of one's fate. When bad things happen, you say, I love it, because you can never control what was going to happen, but you can choose how you react to it. People become defeated when they think that the world is planned out for us. What's the point in even trying when everything is laid in front? There is no point in even doing anything because this is God's plan. Well, Chrysippus, the third head of the Stoic school, he said that humans and their character are comparable to cones and cylinders. A cylinder, when nudged in the right direction by the Creator, will roll without resistance, leading down the path, down a destined path. This is the good life. This is living in accordance. The cone is the character that resists this. You're pushed in this direction by fate, by God, by the Creator, by Zeus, and you just spiral around, never truly getting to where you were destined. There's too much resistance. The next concept to understand, and one of the fundamental concepts to understand in order to live the good life, is to understand what is good. What is the nature of good? The Stoics broke it down into good, bad, and indifferent. Virtue alone is good. Wisdom, courage, temperance, justice. Vice alone is bad. Intemperance, injustice, foolishness, cowardice, and everything else is indifferent. But this is then broken down into preferred and dispreferred indifferences. So the Stoic would base their actions on good, on virtue, but aim towards preferred indifferences. When you understand the four virtues, then you can use them as a foundation to base your life off of. The reason you need this foundation, and it's most important today with the rise of social media, the influence of marketing, and people that will manipulate you using their character, using their power, using their influence. But the four virtues are a foundation to stand upon. So when people are being swayed, that their attention is being dragged by the shiniest object, and they want this thing that they're being told they want, you can look towards the foundations that you've built, the Stoic foundations of the four virtues, and ask yourself, is this wise? Is this courageous? Is this just? And this foundation that you stand on is fundamental to living the good life. And it's easy. At the beginning, you just ask yourself, is this based off of the four virtues? And eventually it will melt into your character. It will seep into your pores, and it will be who you are. Preferred and dispreferred indifference. How is health or wealth not good? Well, according to the Stoics, health and wealth can both be used for bad. They can be used for good and bad. So they are neither good nor bad, but it's based on how you use it. The value of these things are based on how you use it. So if you use wealth in accordance with virtue, then it's good. If you use health in accordance with virtue, then it's good. And you may ask, how is health bad? If an evil dictator has good health, then he can harm more people. It's as simple as that. And you may ask, how is pain good? Sometimes pain can indicate when you need treatment. Pain can build resilience. Pain can build strength. So, preferred indifferences are these things like health, wealth, respect, creativity, the things that are deemed better by society. So strive towards these things, have aim towards these things. As Marcus Aurelius said, without aim, we wander around aimlessly. So at the start of your day, you make aim towards these things, but keeping virtue in mind. Never aim towards these things out of greed or selfishness. And this is the fundamental step to make sure you move in the right direction. So when you start to hear these later steps from the Stoics, you'll understand which direction you need to go in, and it will be crucial to make sure you do not use the later foundations built by the Stoics for bad. So you don't take these blueprints and use them for bad. If you base your actions off of the virtues and aim towards preferred indifferences, then the later blueprints will lead you to the good life. If not, you'll become a tyrant, as the Stoics say. So the Stoic understanding of the four virtues is slightly different to what you would imagine. Wisdom is the understanding of what is good, what is bad, what is within our power, what is not within our power. Courage is the ability to face discomfort and pain. It's the ability to face your fears. It's the ability to stand up for what is right. Justice. The Stoics say this is the most important of virtues. Justice falls under equity, fair dealing, kindness, equality. Justice is imperative because without justice, all these other things are selfish. And temperance. Temperance or moderation is the ability to moderate yourself, to manage yourself, to make sure that you do not take too much or take too little. It's to understand what is the right amount. It is the ability to use all of the Stoic virtues in harmony and to be able to moderate your character. We'll go deeper into the four virtues in a later episode, but these four virtues are essential to laying the foundations towards the good life. The last principle of a Stoic's Guide to the Good Life, Part 1, is the understanding that our thoughts create reality. The world will happen as it does, and you don't control this, but you choose what lens you look at the world with. There's the concept of the blue shades, the cold shades. You've been wearing these cold shades your whole life. Everything is dark and miserable, and this is all you can see of the world because you look at everything from this blue perspective. But if one day you was to take these shades off, you'd see the world for what it really is. It is your perception that builds the world around you. It is not events that disturb us, it is our opinion of those events that disturb us, as Epictetus said. There's a popular explanation for this of the yellow car. They say it's easy to spot a yellow car when looking for a yellow car. You know, when you start to learn of a new subject, you start to see it everywhere. It's because you've decided to focus on this subject. If I was to ask you to look around the room and look for all the blue objects, every single blue object in the room, and then I ask you how many red objects did you see? You wouldn't have seen many because you was looking for blue objects. You wasn't looking for red. There's still the same amount of red objects in that room, but you've been looking for blue. And this is the same in life. If you look at life from a creative point of view, you'll start to see the creativity in things. If you start to look at life from a musician's lens, then you'll hear sounds. The musician Phineas, he used the sound of a road crossing in one of his songs. It's a huge hit song, but you know, it's just a sound. We all hear that same sound, that same crossing every day on our way to work, but he's looking at it from a lens of a musician. And so you can change your lens, the way you look at things. The reason this is important is I'll refer to the dark hole that we dig, we put ourselves in. I remember being in this hole a long time ago when I was a labourer, and you know, I was getting paid less than minimum wage, catching a 2-hour bus at 4 a.m, getting home late after a 2-hour bus home. I was getting paid like £20 a day and spending most of it on bus fare. And I kept thinking to myself, how dire is my situation? How rubbish is this? How little wage do I get? How tired am I? How sad am I? How rubbish is this situation? I can never escape. And I remember walking home one day and thought, why am I convincing myself how rubbish my situation is? No one's listening. I'm standing before my own court, pleading my case to convince them. What was I trying to convince them of? I was trying to convince myself that it's okay to give up. I was in this hole, you know, that I was capable of climbing out, but I decided I would dig as deep as possible. So then when someone says, how come you haven't climbed out? I can say, look how impossible it is to climb up. But it's always possible to climb out. There's always hope. So the reason people dig this hole deeper is because, first of all, if your hole is so deep that you can't climb out, then you don't have to try climb out. Also, the hole is comfortable. It's all you've known. It's comfortable in that darkness. And number 3, it's scary to imagine what's on the other end. And what is on the other end? The good life. So all 3 of these things lead you to dig in deeper. So you take on the lens of pessimism. You look for the bad to prove to yourself why you should give up. But there is no justification for it. You can always try. You can always improve your life one little step at a time. And that is the point of this guide. If you follow each step, it will lead you closer and closer to the good life. There is no reason not to try. And I mean this from a factual point. As long as you're alive, you can always try. And that's the problem. People are scared of this effort. There is resistance to try. So if you can make your situation and your life so dire, so hopeless, rather than sitting in a little hole, you're in a 10-foot hole with steep sides, no tools to get out. It's impossible. So it's okay to give up, but it's never okay. This was part 1 of the Stoic Guide to the Good Life with William Mulligan.